All right, we'll go ahead and get started today with our webinar. We're going over Snappy Kraken and the services that they're going to be helping you with. Before we do get started, I do want to let everybody know within the chat box, Kendal has provided us a link. So within the presentation, if you want to learn some more information about Snappy Kraken and all that they do, click that and it'll take you to the landing page and you'll be able to view that. But like I said, before we get started, I do have a little bit of information to go over about IAMS and the services that we offer our advisors. And I just want to start off by thanking everybody for joining us today. And through the presentation, I will launch a few polls. If you would just take a little time, read those, and answer them. If you do have any questions about this presentation today, you can reach out to me. It's 1-800-255-5055. All right, on to our next slide here. This is a really great program that IAMS offers all of our new advisors here, the new producer bonus. When you contract here with us, we do provide this within the first 180 days for you. As you can see on the screen, there's a lot of great opportunities to earn incentives, cash, or we can help you build out a website once you reach these certain levels. If you'll just take a moment, just kind of review those and some of the things that we can do for you to help your practice. Okay. And on to our IAMS Business Builder. This is a referral program that we offer here. It's just it's a great way to say thank you to our advisors for referring other advisors over to us. As we all know, referrals are the best way to grow a business at a very high rate. And by doing that, we give you that one-time $50 bonus. And then on top of that, we give you an override on any business that advisor writes. As you can see on the life target premium, 0.5% there, annuities 0.2%, single premium life, and also MIGA business. And these bonuses are paid out quarterly. I've witnessed, thousands of dollars going out as a thank you to referring, great producers over here with us at IAMS. And our back office support is really great here. They work really hard for our advisors, getting those applications pushed through for you and getting commissions paid out very quickly to you. They do a great job with scrubbing applications for you, submitting them on your behalf, and also doing follow-up work. I know they usually touch every application with it every 72 hours. If there's information needed, they're going to reach out to you, or they'll reach out to your clients asking for this stuff. Once again, great back-end support. That's just one of the things that, IAMS here, we were founded on, is really helping our advisors and giving that personal touch. And our IAMS website, it's a great resource to use. If you need term quotes, go on there. It's really easy, really simple. We have our resource library that's got tons of content in it to help you with your sales process. We got pre-built campaigns for you, client presentations. It's all out there on the site. Like I said, really easy to do and use. It's just a single sign-on, and once you're contracted here with us, it's made available to you. All right, and our next one is going over our e-app solutions. It's, once again, really easy to use. It is on our IAMS website, single sign-on. I know there are certain carriers out there that would prefer you to use an e-app, and they'll actually pay you a little bit more of commission for doing that. It's submitted directly to the carrier, really helps speed up the process of getting those pushed through, and makes business really convenient where you're not having to meet with the client face-to-face, get signatures. It's a really awesome tool. And it's also, available for life and annuity side, single sign-on, get registered on it, and it really helps make sure that everything's submitted in good order. And yeah, our creative department is really unique here, man. They do a fantastic job building out websites for you. They can design logos, get you content built out, and these people they're dealing with this industry day in and day out, and it's not some third party that not understanding the industry and what we do. So all the content that they would build out on your webpage is going to be relevant to you, and it's just a real professional touch on it. So if somebody's out there looking for a financial advisor and they come across your website, really helps solidify that credibility that you have. And our IAMS Wealth Management, that is something that we started 4 years ago by Charles Hiring Jr. This has been a really successful part of our business. We've seen a ton of growth of that. So if that's something you're interested in, we can help you become your own IRA. We've helped multiple advisors pass their Series 65 at a very high rate. It's just something that you could add to your practice for you to grow in that sector as well. And our Seaside Sanctuary, I just want to speak about this momentarily. This is a great way to get with other advisors. It's incentive trips that we offer here. As you can see, the qualification, what you would need, and the time frame for it, as it is coming to an end. But if you're right there on the cusp of it and you're here with us, I would really encourage you to push hard and make that trip. It's a great time. And as always, please like and follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook. And from there, I will turn it over to Kendal, and she'll start her presentation going over Snappy Kraken.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, everybody, welcome.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I appreciate the intro. I'm going to share my window, so give me just a second to get everything set up. Paul and I were just talking about how this one, we're not going to have any technical difficulties. And I think so far, so good. But let me make this a little prettier for us all. So I want to give a little bit of background on Snappy Kraken, and Paul made a couple of good points on what's important to IAMS, and I know what's really important to all of you, which comes down to referrals and growing revenue. But when it comes to marketing, it's always having a trusted source of people who work in the industry, specifically with financial advisors and wealth managers as a whole. And so Snappy Kraken, we do partner with IAMS because we go hand in hand. We couple really well together with what they're able to offer, kind of that foundation, and then adding on to it with something like Snappy Kraken. So if you've never heard of us before, the very basis of what we do is digital marketing for financial advisors specifically, and we help with a couple of different tools. So this is where it's important to take a moment just to think about maybe what your goals are for your business coming into 2024. This is definitely the month that we're planning for those Q1 OKRs and exactly how we want to get there. So think about your goals. Is it generating more business? Are you really in that growth space? Or maybe it's more focused on retention and client interaction, creating better communication with those folks. Whichever kind of goal you may lean into, Snappy Kraken is going to be here to aid in all of that different types of communication. So we have a huge content library. It's over 400 different pieces that are all original. So you have tons to choose from, all of which are going to be, some are topical, some are a little bit more empathetic in a way that you can connect deeper with your clientele and with new prospects. And then we add automation. So it helps you scale your voice, contact more people, and it makes it easier and faster for you to do so. Now, along with that, we have some things like websites and including SEO strategies, and I'm going to talk about all of those throughout the presentation. But for this specific one, we're talking about the financial advisor's growth flywheel. And you may be wondering kind of what that means, and I'll give you a description pretty soon. But the reason that Snappy Kraken has focused in on this flywheel is because we understand the importance of having a strategy going into our marketing. And so we have a strategy called the cold to gold framework, and it's what all of our content is built on. It's what our websites are built on. And we've turned it into this flywheel to be able to create momentum and kind of turn that dial up as we get more comfortable with marketing, as our expertise increases, and as we bring on some new tools for ourselves. Now, for advisors, the issue that you face that a simple Google search, 3 words, financial advisor marketing, it populates quite a few results, 266 million to be exact. So that's a flood of information that we understand you're drowning in. And ultimately, what we want to do is simplify this process for you, because there's tons and tons of advice. You talk to every marketer and they have some good ideas. But what we're going to talk about today is strictly the top performing opportunities and the top performing channels that the top 20% of financial advisory firms are implementing into their business 2024. And I'm going to show you the data that proves that these points perform. And I'm going to show you exactly how to fit them into the flywheel so that you can create momentum, grow your business, and ultimately retain your clients for a lifetime. So when we have that many results, or we have all these ideas and information, what starts to happen is we just start to kind of randomly try things, right? Random actions, they create random results, or at very best, inconsistent results. So today, we want to focus on what those focus points should be. We're going to have 6 in total, and so that we can have these focused results. We want to have more predictable and scalable growth, and the only way to do that is by having a strategy that works for you. And so I'm going to go through what those focus points are. We're going to go through the data, of course, and then I'm going to go through what the advisor growth flywheel exactly is. So you might be wondering, kind of what we're looking at here. But imagine the flywheel as the engine of your business, right? So it's spinning, and you're going to see there's 2 different rings. On the outer ring, I want you to hone in on those 3 different phases. So on the outer ring, we have our audience types. We have our general audience. We want to start there. It's kind of our bread and butter, where we want to create the foundation. That moves into clients, right? That's the next goal. We want to turn that general audience into clients. And then it turns into refers. So we want to turn them into lifelong promoters of your business, because that's really kind of where that organic growth comes from. And I think that's truly kind of the best part of your business is as you grow, you get that organic growth. Now, on the inner circle, there are the 6 focus points that we're going to go through. And these 6 focus points are also 6 ways to build deeper and better relationships with your prospects and with your clients. So we're going to go through all of those. Now, at the middle of our flywheel, or the middle of the engine, we're going to talk about what that big promise is, what it's all spinning around, why we're doing marketing, but we're going to get that at the end. But for this very first part, I just want to focus on the audience types. But before we get in there, I want to really hone in on that there are only 3 forces that make your flywheel spin. So if we're thinking about it as the engine of your business, this could be the different fuel types, but there's only 3. And so you have your own effort, which is finite. We're all fighting kind of the lack of time and lack of hours in the day. And so sometimes we need to offload that onto other people. Maybe that's admin, or you have marketing support, bringing in IMs or adding a third party like Snappy Kraken to help offset some of the content creation, all of that time consuming work. And then we couple that with the third, which is automation. And automation, it makes your life easier, it helps you scale your voice quicker, and it's the cornerstone of what Snappy Kraken does. So we include automation into all of our campaigns, all of our content, and you're going to see some of that content in just a second. But these are the 3 forces that make your flywheel spin. So now that we have that covered, You may be wondering, how are we sure, right? How do we know exactly what works? Well, the truth is we work with tons and tons of advisors. We've collected data from tens of thousands of advisors all across the country. We have 600,000 plus campaigns that we've created, launched, and then market tested to see what works, see what doesn't. And then we continuously update that library every single month with new content, pretty much based on these data points. Now, from these data points, what we've noticed is that there are replicable processes that the top advisory firms are implementing into their business to drive growth, to make better relationships, and to keep their clients for longer. Now, when we look at this data, there are some outliers that don't necessarily fit in. And those would be people who maybe have built their business solely on being a television host or on the news or maybe on podcasts, something of that nature, where they have a special skill that kind of works for them that may not work for everybody. So in today's presentation, we're only going to focus on points that are replicable for every advisor, no matter what your strengths or weaknesses may be. And then I'm going to show you how to implement that into the strategy so that they compound on each other and it becomes this virtuous cycle working in the benefit of your business. So now that we're into the audience types, let's start with our general audience. And you'll notice that this is the biggest portion of that outer ring. Now, why is it the biggest portion? What would make that so important? Well, your general audience, this is your gold mine. So aside from your clients, this is truly where you create the most opportunity for your business. So we want to grow your audience as big as possible so you can create as much opportunity as possible. But the difference between your audience and maybe just a list of advisors, or I'm sorry, not advisors, a list of prospects, is that your general audience are people who are paying attention and they're engaging with your content. So it's not just kind of that cold list, but there's tons of people that would be involved here. So we have referrals, we have old contacts we maybe haven't marketed to in a while. Hopefully we're getting fresh opt-ins from our websites and lead sources, maybe you're buying leads, your social media following subscribers, and then you even have your clients. So these are people that you could be communicating with just to create that better experience, and then they can be sending you people too. So your audience, this is really kind of the biggest portion. We have 3 focus points in there that I'll cover in just a little bit. But as we grow our audience, what's the next goal? We want to turn them into clients, right? And so within our client sector, we have 4 different types. We have our new clients we're still making a really good impression on. We have promoters, they know, they love our business, they tell our story. We have passives, they don't necessarily love nor hate us, but they're there and they pay their fees. And then we have detractors, right? Nobody really wants a detractor in our businesses, but oftentimes they're there. But for this presentation, I'm only going to focus on promoters. And I'm going to focus on how to turn new clients into promoters, passives into promoters, and then maybe even detractors, right? Fingers crossed. So once we have this client base, what's our next step? Well, we want to turn these clients into lifelong fans of our business so that they can promote it and we can have a more predictable way to have refers or referrals come into our business. And so within our refers, we have our client base, of course. You may even have some other professionals or advisors who maybe don't have your exact niche, so they can send people your way as they come. You also have your engaged audience, so people who maybe aren't your clients yet, but you're sending information that is so valuable to them that they want to share that information with people that they know and love as well. So don't forget about that hidden referral system. That's often where people kind of they don't recognize that right away. Okay, so we have our audience types, we're turning them into clients, we're turning them into promoters, but how do we do this? So let's get into the strategy part. Let's understand these different focus points, but I'm just focusing on the top performers. So here's a list of ways to get noticed. And if you can't tell by the name of Snappy Kraken, if there's nothing else that we can do, we can get noticed, right? Snappy Kraken is a pretty catchy name. We do that on purpose, and our content in our campaigns match that specifically. But for today's presentation, I just want to talk about SEO on how to get noticed and the impact. So if we look at some of the data on the screen, it's pretty significant. So almost 93% of global traffic comes from Google search. Now, I want you to start to think about where you spend your energy. Are you spending tons of time creating content or maybe trying to grow your audience organically? Now, if we look at SEO and how it drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social media, you may want to consider to yourself to pump the brakes a little on those activities and instead invest a little bit more time on SEO. And we get feedback about advisors saying, I struggle with SEO. I don't feel like it works for me very well, or I haven't found success with that yet. So there are good ways to do SEO, and then there's bad ways to do SEO. So I'm going to talk about exactly how to be successful with that, and also the pitfalls and kind of what not to do. But if we just look at the data from Snappy Kraken clients, from who we've helped, we see 76% extra website visitors, 20% increase in pages visited, and a 13% increase in opt-ins. So if you think about this as compounding interest over time, this builds on itself month after month, and you start to really see success by doing SEO the right way. So I'm going to show you something that's completely free, but a really good way to start getting prioritized on Google. And so this is a Google business profile. It's absolutely free. We can help you do this, but this is something that you can do completely on your own. So Google, they prioritize businesses that have a completed Google business profile. And then they also prioritize businesses that have 100+ photos. And that's an important step that you don't want to skip over. So if you're thinking to yourself, 100 photos, that's a lot. They don't have to be headshots. They don't have to be perfect photos. They need to be authentic to who you are, who your brand is, how you want people to perceive you. So show people in your office, take photos with your clients, have photos from maybe events that you've been to, or things within your community. All of that can create this picturesque brand for yourself, because people aren't just buying your product, they're buying the relationship they feel that they have for you. So this is somewhat the online character that you can build for yourself. And again, this is completely free, but you do need to have this to start getting prioritized on Google. So this is where to start. If you take nothing else from this presentation, go home and do this. But let's talk about some of the pitfalls and why advisors may not see success with their SEO strategy. So this wording, it says financial planning for retirees. It might be familiar to many of you on today, because all of us, right, we want to be the #1 financial planner for retirees. Of course, that's who our ideal client is. That's who we're searching for. But the issue that you're facing, you are up against the biggest advisory firms in the world that have tens of millions of dollars that they're throwing at their advertising budget, making it nearly impossible to compete with. And so instead of having to spend tons of money or try to compete in this field, we just need to get a little bit more specific. And so here are a couple of different terms and different wording that we use. And there's something that we call long tail keywords. So long tail keywords, if you don't know what that is, it's basically just getting a little bit more granular with such a general term. So these long tail keywords, they start to speak directly to your ideal clientele. And this is how you pull in the right leads for your business, how you attract the right clientele to yourself, is by speaking their language. So if we look at divorce recovery and financial advice for women, right? Who is that speaking to? You know exactly who that is. and how you're going to help them, safeguarding retirement savings for life. So this is just starting to elevate the way that your business stands out on SEO. And if you implement these long tail keywords, or we kind of help you do that too, you're going to see success and see much more growth in people visiting your website far quicker than just having financial planning for retirees. So this is exactly how you start to win and crush SEO. But just because they get to your website doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win them as a prospect. So you need to think about coupling your SEO strategy, and once they get to your site, with catching content. So here's 2 examples of Snappy Kraken content. These are just 2 out of the 400 plus that we have in our library. And you're going to notice it's a bit different than most of the content that you see out there, at least the financial content, because we have a team of experts that designs this content every single month. And it's much more bold, it's much more unique than the general kind of canned and bland financial content that's been kind of the industry standard for so long. And it speaks directly to that clientele. So you're speaking their language, you're attracting the right people. And it stands out because it's far different. And the biggest complaint that we get at Snappy Kraken about our content is that it's too bold. So we get advisors that say it's just too bold. I want something that's a little bit more bland, and they're welcome to go use that content, but it's not going to work. It's not going to stand out. It won't stop the scroll. It's not going to grasp the attention of the reader. And so you need to use content that will stand out and really kind of capture that attention, because that goes into the next step. Once we've gotten you noticed, we actually need to get someone to raise their hand. We need to grow your audience, so increase the number of prospects. So how do we do that? Right? Lead generation, it's probably the hottest topic, and it has been for years in the industry. And so there's multiple ways, and I'm going to share those with you. But lead generation is the #1 way to do that, and specifically it's with texting. So we have a texting platform. It's called Convos, and it's 1-to-1 and 1-to-many. And you can do, of course, either meeting times and follow-ups, or you can do the 1-to-many feature where you share information, and then you can have this little text me widget. We call it a widget. This goes on your website where someone will be on there, have a quick question, and they can text it to you. Now, the reason that this works so well, that you see a 400% increase in lead generation from this little widget, is because texting is low risk, high reward, right? Everybody has a phone in their hand, and I'd way rather send a text message than answer a phone call or send a phone call, that's for sure. And so sending a text, it's pretty low risk for them, but now you've generated their first name, last name, and their phone number, so you can continue to follow up with them. And that's where the nurturing comes in, and that'll come into play in just a little bit. But for lead generation, texting is definitely going to be huge in 2024 and something that you should consider for your business. But if we look past texting and we want to kind of stick to really what works, and it's worked forever, we have our campaigns. So these are multi-step, multi-channel campaigns. And if we're looking at this diagram, I want to walk you through this. So this is for a business escape plan. This is another campaign in the Snappy Kraken library. You have 3 emails that go out per month. You have a social post that goes out every single week, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you will automate all of these sequences. So once it's set up, once you personalize, if you'd like to customize, you can. You'll simply launch this, and then every single week you'll have this automation go out on your behalf. Now, when someone clicks into one of the emails or the social posts, it's going to send them to this landing page. And this landing page is hyper specific. So it's action focused. They can do one of two things and only one of two things. So they're not clicking on your about me and checking into all the fancy stuff. We want them to do these one of two things, which is either opt in to give you their information and download the PDF that's informative. They're going to get education from it, we make sure. Or they can book a meeting from you directly from that landing page. Whichever action they take, you have all of the follow-up already set up for you. So you have the confirmation page, you have a reminder if they have booked the meeting that the meeting's coming up. And then if they haven't booked the meeting yet, but they've downloaded the PDF, then we have the follow-up that says, hey, thank you so much for your interest. I can answer any question that you may have. Feel free to book a meeting with me. And that follow-up is so incredibly crucial and really how you see the success of booking more meetings, having more conversations. And so this multi-step, multi-channel campaign is already turnkey and ready for you to go, but you can personalize it if you'd like to. So we've gotten noticed with the SEO, bold content. We're growing our audience and our opt-ins with lead generation and texting and multi-channel. But now we need to start conversations. So we need to get the ball rolling. We really kind of want to build that credibility and earn some trust with these prospects. But how do we do that? So take a second and look at this diagram with me. So at the bottom, you'll see there's effort, low effort, high effort. We have competition on the right, and then we have credibility on the left. So if we look at low effort, kind of that low hanging fruit, texting is pretty easy, right? AI could build it. It's still really useful, but almost everybody can text. So it's not super credible. You don't have a ton, you have a lot of competition, but still a useful tool. But we're thinking about credibility here. How are we building credibility? We jump up onto the next level. Voice starts to build that credibility. They know it's you. But really kind of the sweet spot is one step up, and that's video. So once you're in video, your competition drastically decreases and your credibility drastically increases. So there's far less people doing video, but when people can see your face, and we're in the age of these short clip videos, people just kind of want to know who they're speaking with or who they're working with or who they may work with. So video is going to be so crucial going into 2024. But before I skip over this, the only issue is that it takes some effort. And I know as an advisor, your plate is full, you wear multiple hats. And so adding more effort is something that most people don't want to do. So at Snappy Kraken, we know that we want to make this as easy as possible for you. So we have 40+ video scripts in our library, and this is one of the campaign diagrams that you can take a look at. So you may be an advisor who creates videos already. Maybe you're steps ahead of a lot of people, but it still may just be sitting maybe on a YouTube page or on your LinkedIn. What our campaigns do are help to distribute these videos. So number one, we give you the script. We also give you all of the instructions on how to record, what tools to use, teleprompters. We hold your hand through the entire experience. And then we give you the platform to distribute this. So you can send this to thousands of prospects at once. You can post this immediately to all of your socials. And then you're going to have it packaged with a nice bow on top that gives a quick snippet and description of exactly what's included. And so video is really something that we all need to be investing in next year. But you may be thinking to yourself, the videos that I see, they're really professional and people are spending tens of thousands of dollars on creating these, and that doesn't work for me. Like I am just not able to do that. I either don't have the time or the resources. But when it comes to video, people want to see the real, authentic you. So look past just the kind of perfect video, long explanation. These can be 60-second videos that are more of like that home feel on your back porch or maybe on a walk that show who you truly are so that people can get a feel for maybe if they have a connection with you right off the bat. So it's something that you'll just have to get comfortable with on screen, but it's a skill that you can build over time. And once you start, you'll start to get the hang of it and you'll build that expertise over time. But we give you all the tools to make it as easy as possible. Now, if we look at some statistics, People often get hung up on that shiny object of open rates. They always ask, what's the open rate? But something that's really crucial is click-through rates. We want people to interact with our content and really become engaged. And adding video into your emails, specifically into your subject lines, gets a far higher open rate and a much higher click-through rate. So we're getting far more engagement. We're starting those conversations. We're building credibility. And people are doing that really just through these 60-second short clip videos. Some are topical again, some are much more personal, but either way, video is going to be something that we want to include. Now, we also want to talk about frequency, and that's why it's important to get comfortable and not get so attached to it being this huge video production, because frequency is important. And this is the mirror exposure effect. It's pretty simple, right? We have more exposure increases our preference to any type of business or good. Now, it's not necessarily a positive or negative preference, but they're more familiar with you because they've seen it over and over. They've seen your videos, they've seen your face. And so over time, they increase their preference to your brand. Now, when it comes to frequency, here's a couple examples. These are kind of our average users at Snappy Kraken, sending out about 1.6 either emails or social posts per month. Now their open rate, still pretty good, conversion rate, leads generated. But if we look at our power users, people that are really using their content, they're sending out a couple campaigns per month, they're adding the videos, we see our open rate nearly double, same with conversion, and then more than double for leads per campaign. So that frequency is super important. We have our emails are saturated, our social posts are saturated. And so when it comes to increasing the way that we communicate, automation is the best way to get this out on scale without having to take a ton of time. Now, when it comes to Snappy Kraken, we have a couple of different products. So we have our content library, which is it's called automations. And that is kind of a la carte. You can do it with, we'll do it with you, where you log in every month and decide on a couple of campaigns that work for your business, launch those. It takes about an hour to 2 hours per month to actually get those launched. You also can just do a website and do an SEO strategy with us, or we have a product called Freedom 360. And Freedom 360, these are some stats from this product. And Freedom 360 is our done for you program. So it's hands off. We log in for you every single month and we launch 3 campaigns for you. And then we also will host your website, include an SEO strategy. We're also going to have lead sources and texting widgets. All of that will be included. And if we look at some of these stats before Freedom 360 and then after, total emails open 350, skyrockets to over 3,000. So what our members are seeing from adding this frequency and consistency are huge improvements to their performance statistics. So if you're interested in the done for you process, again, in the chat, you can book a one-on-one demo with our team and they can walk you through the different products and kind of show you exactly how Freedom 360 works and really how easy it is to get that started. But let's keep going for now. So another way that we start conversations, it's pretty clever. We use something called open loops. And these open loops are really simply just questions that we include into the content to evoke curiosity in your prospects. So if you think about marketing and exactly what it does, think of it as creating this path from the prospect to the professional. We want to create this path, we want to widen the path, we want to make it easy to get back to you. And so we create these questions that really only a professional would be able to answer. Now, I have a little bit more information than probably most prospects, but if I was just kind of the average prospect and I had to answer if my retirement plan incorporates recessions, volatility, and bear markets, I would have absolutely no clue. And that would make me want to reach back out to the advisor that sent this to me to get clarity. And so in all of our campaigns, all of our content on our websites, we create these open loops to push that prospect through the path back to you so that they can get more answers and professional help. Now, we've understood our audience type, right? We want to grow that. We want to create opportunity, want to get noticed with SEO, grow our audience with lead generation, start conversations with video, and now we want to win that client, right? That's the ultimate goal. But now that we've won the client, I'm not going to hone in on this too much because I think you have plenty of tools, you have IMs, you have your own knowledge base, and so that's normally not the problem that advisors face. They are good with actually closing the deal. So once we've closed the deal, we want to turn them into a lifelong fan, right? So we don't just want people to stay around for a couple of years. We want to see it through till their retirement, till they create that legacy, and then maybe on to that legacy. And, you know, people, their friends and their families. But how do we do this? Now, there's a couple of different ways, but it definitely starts with the onboarding process. It starts right off the gate when you have that new client that you're making a good impression on, turning them into a fan of yours by improving your communication, sharing comfort and knowledge, making them feel like they're getting expertise, and then creating that emotional bond with them so that they want to stay with you because they feel like you're part of their family, or that you're a friend of theirs, so that you go beyond the numbers. And that's really kind of how the shift in the financial world is moving, is really putting an importance on that emotional connection that you have with your client. So I'm going to show you the different tools that Snappy Kraken offers to help improve those different types of experiences. But first, I want to read this handwritten letter. Now, this letter came from one of our clients that they got from, you know, one of theirs. And I'm just going to read this middle insert. So follow along with me. It says, you sent out a memo on June 14th of this year. The subject read, why it's going to be okay. I pull it out to review from time to time to find a measure of hope, which I can always count on from you. Thank you for your encouraging words and for helping us all weather through this storm. So pretty nice subject line, right? It's not super informative, but instead it's really kind of sharing the comfort to your clients that everything is going to work out, that yes, we may have some market turbulence, that there are recession worries, but it's all going to be okay. And so instead of having to create this own timely email, we offer a huge library to choose from. And so if you look past our campaigns and our video scripts and all the other tools, our timely emails have such a huge value on your client retention and even you know, having a connection with your prospects. But if you're an advisor that has a goal of client retention and increasing your communication, maybe you're an advisor trying to do this all on your own and, you know, hoping to create these timely emails, but they're time consuming. We have tons and tons to choose from. Some are topical, and then some are going to be like, it's going to be okay, another wild ride. And we come up with 2 new timely emails every single month for you to share, so you have plenty to choose from. So now that we've talked about the timely emails, I want to go over the onboarding experience and making a good impression on those new clients. Now, this is one of our tools that goes beyond the campaign. And this is the 90-day new client campaign. I've actually stolen this for my own use for our partnerships because I work directly with them. But it's such a great way to start off the relationship because you're organized, you're proactive, you're on top of it, and you're making people feel like you are taking care of them right out of the gate. Now, if we look at the promotional elements within this campaign, you're going to notice that there's a welcome email, pretty simple, moving into expectation setting. Day 14, email 3, that's patience, letting them know that there's plenty that you're doing on the back end that maybe they don't see. So just be patient. There's plenty going on. We move into questions and surveys, pretty much temperature checks to make sure that you're on the same page before an issue arises, right? So we want to be proactive versus reactive with our clients. That's truly how we create that emotional connection right from the beginning. So this is an incredible tool that you can use and you can customize. So every advisor in the library, they should be using this every single time they bring on a new client, because it's a good way to start off on the right foot. And starting off on the right foot right out of the gate, or sending out those timely emails and receiving letters like that, we're creating this emotional experience. And in the brain, emotional experiences stand out far more than anything that's non-emotional. So as the financial realm starts to shift and results become more competitive and there's more tools for advisors to use, we have to start relying on this emotional connection that we have with our clients and with our prospects to win new business and to keep the business that we have. And so here is a cool example. This really has nothing to do with marketing necessarily, but this is a legacy wall. So this is from one of our clients. They shared this with us, and they've asked their client base to bring in photos of their grandchildren, of their families, and they've added it to the walk-in wall so that every time someone comes in, they're reminded why they're creating this legacy, why they're doing all of this work, why they're working with you over and over, why they're paying their fees. And it creates this emotional experience for them to keep coming back and creating a lifelong fan of yours, because you're doing those little extras that make a really big difference. So pretty cool example, definitely can steal that for your own. But now that we've created that emotional experience, we've had a great onboarding, we've done great with communication, we're informing and comforting our clients, we're doing those little extras. Now, how do we generate more predictable referrals for our business? Now, I think advisors, they struggle with asking for referrals. It's always a little awkward, right? Nobody wants to feel like somebody's doing them a favor. So we have in our library another tool. It's called it's our automatic referral generation campaign. Tim Franklin at the top, he's used this. He's had a significant pickup in client referrals since using this campaign. And it's just 2 simple steps. We also advise that you couple this with a personal memo or maybe a phone call. So we still want to have that human personal touch kind of to really kind of solidify that referral. But within this campaign, we totally flip the script of how we're asking. So this little middle excerpt, let's read this all together. It says, that's why with everything going on in the markets right now, we're leaving a few slots open in our calendar every week just to do a free risk assessment with people our clients refer to us, friends, family members, neighbors, really anyone who would like to make sure they're not taking too much risk right now and could lose a lot of their wealth. Now, this is all facts, right? This is true. You are helping people. You're making the world a better place. And you should be helping your clients, friends, and families mitigate their risk. And so asking in this type of perspective really shows your clients that you're offering this service to their friends and family. You're making their networks better. You're making their communities better. And it just kind of softens the way that you ask. But let's talk about timing. So when do we ask for the referral? Now, there's a couple of different ways. Kind of the perfect timing, of course, is when someone thanks you. So when you have a success story with one of your clients and you've had something significant happen, they've thanked you for your service. This is when you let them know that, hey, I have a few spots open for risk assessments. I know we've found a lot of success and we've grown together, and I'd love to be able to share that with people that you know and love, right? We're creating that emotional experience. We're going far beyond just numbers and performance. Now we're talking real experiences with people. You can also do this on the anniversary of your clients, or maybe you just do it all at one time at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, whatever makes sense for you. Just know that you might get an influx all at once, and if you spread it out on a more strategic way, you could probably manage that a little bit better. But referrals go beyond just your clients or those one-offs. You know, we can start to think about referrals on a wider level. And a great way to do that is through events. And our CEO, Robert Sophia, he scaled a business pretty much based only on events. And he's brought a ton of those tactics to Snappy Kraken. and wants to be able to share that with advisors on how to do that at scale in the most cost-effective way. So here's a good example. It's private movie screening. You can either do this in your backyard, you can rent out a theater. They make it pretty easy these days. So once you do that, you invite your clients, invite your guests, have them share that with their community. You require an RSVP for the tickets because of course you have to let them know what if it gets rained out or you have to cancel the event. But beyond that, you also have to be able to follow up with them, send them a thank you, share more knowledgeable information that maybe that prospect or that referral could use. But when it comes to this, another key thing that you can include is a trailer of your own business. So maybe you already have a professionally shot 3 to 4 minute video that shares some about your business. You show that first, you screen it. It's advertisement for who you are and exactly what you're doing, why you're bringing the community together, how you help people within your community. And now you've generated a number of leads really kind of on a pretty low budget event. But we can go beyond that and let's think about charity events. These are pretty popular within the industry. We all want to grow our community, make it a better place. And so I gave myself away a couple of presentations ago. I was talking about a golf event and I was giving out some numbers. I said, you're going to have a golf event and charge 25 or maybe it's $25 a head at that golf course. You charge $50 for the ticket, 25 of which covers the per person at the course. The other 25 goes to charity. You can ask people to donate some local businesses, but I was very humbled by the understanding that it's never $25 a head at any golf course. So for this example, I'm just talking about putt-putt golf, okay? If we want to go beyond that, you can. But regardless, we're really just kind of going through some general numbers here. But all of these are great ways to create this community feel, meet people in person, right? We're post-COVID, people want to be back. Events are definitely super important coming into next year, and it's a great way to generate a large list of warm leads or referrals for your business. And if you think about it, you can start to maybe hire a photographer for these events, or you get crafty, you take some photos of your own, you get comfortable with your phone in your hand, taking photos of people at the event, and you upload those to your Google business profile. So all of this works hand in hand together. But referrals just go beyond, and this is how you create more predictable growth. But you may be thinking, how do I distribute this information? Or how do I get people, how do I send the RSVP? It seems like a lot of work. We make it as easy as possible. Again, we have event campaigns. We have event campaigns for in-person. We have event campaigns for virtual events, for webinars, for seminars, and they look something like this. So you have an email that goes out each week. You also have a social post, and everything goes to the event registration page. This is where they can RSVP, and then everything's already automated. You have the confirmation email, and then the day before the event, another email will go out to remind them. So it's really easy. It's already set up for you, and you just plug and play. So here is just a preview of what that looks like. You add your dates in, some description. You can even add a video. So this is a great way to build that credibility and start to get some excitement from those prospects. And now you can scale your voice and really get this out with the use of automation. So we've pretty much gone through each and every portion of the flywheel, except what we're doing all this for. So why are we building an audience? Why are we building our client base? And why are we turning them into referrers? Why do we want better relationships with these prospects and our clients? Well, what this flywheel is spinning around is your big promise. So this is your big promise to yourself, your big promise to your clients. And to break it down, this is how you identify who your ideal clientele is. So you understand your niche. This helps you identify those long tail keywords with SEO. You also can start to hone in on what campaigns make sense for your business and your clientele. You understand your value prop, how you can help these clients, exactly what you do. You include this to every portion of that flywheel, every element, every focus point, and then your marketing starts to grow. So you become, your knowledge grows, you start to turn the dial up, you have more momentum, you see more prospects turning into clients, into refers, into organic growth, and it just continues to spin over and over. And so identifying your target audience is really going to be crucial in understanding how to make your marketing more successful and really kind of see those performance statistics improve. Now, the reason that this is so important is because most advisors are just simply spraying and praying with their content. They're sending out random campaigns or content. It makes no sense. And they're not seeing the results, where they've tried things and they haven't seen the success that they wanted to. And so instead, you have to follow a strategy. And we offer that within Snappy Kraken, within our content, within our Freedom 360 program. And we just want to make sure that you start to look at marketing as this path back to you from your prospects to the professional, and really start to just see more success overall. So Brian, he's used us, got referrals 6 months ago, and we put on hold. She became a client this month, and specifically said our emails from Snappy Kraken, so maybe those timely emails or our campaigns, were a huge asset in winning that client. Now, when we talk to advisors, there's many things that hold you back, right? You're busy. Maybe it's your lack of marketing expertise. That's not something you want to go down. You really just want to focus on your business and being an advisor. We get that. Maybe you lack time. Most of us do. That's generally the biggest issue, is that we lack time. Well, it takes, whether you want to do the done with you, about an hour to 2 hours per month to log in the library, choose a couple of campaigns that make sense for you, personalize them, launch them, and now you're set for the entire month. Or we have the done for you program that's completely hands off. The only thing you have to worry about is compliance and just getting the approval. We make that super easy too, so don't stress yourself out there. We have all of the compliance information that you need. We are FINRA reviewed, so that makes it a little bit easier too. But working with broker dealers, that's our specialty, so we have you covered. But when we think of marketing, let's look at the speed, right? We can do it all our own. It's pretty heavy lifting. That's a lot on our own shoulders, trying to make content, be consistent, have the frequency, record the videos. It can become a lot. And so we need to offset that with the efforts of others. We start to pick up speed. We have some help pulling that up the hill. And then if we couple that, our own effort, others, plus automation, that's really how we start to see our performance statistics improve. We see our audience type grow. We see our clients grow, and our organic growth, same thing. So at Snappy Kraken, like I said, we have tons of content to choose from. Our automation, all of this is data research. It's tremendously researched on our end. We're continuously testing all of our campaigns to see what performs well, what we need to switch up, how we can improve. And then we have our Freedom 360. You saw the statistics on the earlier slide on how our advisors are seeing huge success with our Done For You program. So if you're looking to learn more, like I said in the chat, we have a link that you can click on, or you can scan this QR code here. You have 15% off all of our products with our partnership with IMS. And so that's 15% off our automations, 15% off websites, or 15% off combos and Freedom 360. So scan this code, go ahead and book your demo with one of our great account executives. They'll walk you through how to launch a campaign, what the content looks like, exactly what's included, how other advisors are using us with success. But regardless, you have tons to choose from and a huge discount with IMS, so definitely take advantage of that. And I will pass it back over to Paul, because I think that's pretty much all I have for you.
Thank you, Kendal. I really appreciate that. Thanks for joining us today. It's a lot of great information that you provided. Goes way more in depth than what I had originally thought. I would encourage everyone to reach out, get a demo, see how Snappy Kraken can really help you grow your business. Thank you once again for jumping on this meeting with us and going through your products. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Paul. Thanks everybody for being with us today. Looking forward to connecting.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
All right, y'all. Everybody have a great day. Bye.